Hello, good evening, and salam alaikum from me, Tarek Hayat, and very warm welcome to the health show this evening. After the excitement of the football, we've got something even more exciting to talk to you about tonight, which is about deafness and blindness, a very, very important topic, which I don't believe really gets the publicity that it should do. So this evening, we're very, very privileged to have a very special guest with us this evening. Selina Sharmeen is the Sensory Support Officer at Deafblind UK, and she'll be joining us with her interpreter, Kat, very shortly. Before we start talking to Selina, deafblindness is a subject that really hasn't had a lot of publicity. I think quite often blindness is covered by a number of charities and organisations, deafness the same. But deafblindness, the loss of both sensations, is something that's a real challenge and to people that they're living with on a daily basis. And just imagine for a moment not being able to see your loved ones or hear them either. The sense of loneliness, the sense of isolation could be overwhelming. So it's a subject we really want to look at this evening. This week is National Deafblind Awareness Week, if you weren't aware of that. And there are a number of activities being run. But before I go any further, let's bring in our colleague Selina Sharmeen. Selina, salam alaikum. A very good evening to you. And a very warm welcome to the health show.
Thank you, Tarek. Nice to see you.
You too, Kat. Thank you so much. So for the purposes of tonight's show, obviously Selina signs. So we'll be speaking to Selina directly, but Kat will be interpreting for us. And so please bear with us. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of delay as we receive the interpretation. But it's very lovely to have both of you with us. It's a real honour to have you. Thank you so much. So the first question I really wanted to ask you, Selina, is can you tell our viewers a little bit about what you do as the Sensory Support Officer for Deafblind UK?
Well, just firstly to say thank you so much for inviting me onto the show tonight. You're right, it's such an important topic to talk about Deafblind Awareness Week. So my role is a sensory officer, as you mentioned, Tarek, and it's full on. It incorporates a lot. And when I joined the organisation, it was such a massive impact onto me to realise how many people out there have a degree of hearing loss and blindness. And there's so many on that spectrum. It's amazing just to think about how many communication barriers that there are that are presented to those people. There's a lot of campaigning in it to be done so those people can have those barriers removed and have the right to access communication and to be treated equally the same as everyone else. So that's my role. I find funding and get involved in bids to try to find donations and more opportunities to grow out my sector. We've got a lot of services that we offer. Of course, I'll give a little bit more about that later. So that's my role in a nutshell as a sensory officer to support our members who are deafblind, and also the members' families and carers are included in that too. We support them as well, and we try and campaign to get more funding to support those individuals and to remove the barriers to give people life.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. So if I could ask you, Selina, a question that I think cuts to the heart of what we're trying to talk about today is how do we break down the barriers for deafblind people?
That is one of the most important things that we try to do to make life just straightforward. And the main barrier is communication. That's the main thing. If people have got communication, that's the main barrier that we need to remove. And you think how much easier life could be just to have that basic right, and also access to information. It's so important. You think all the different sources of information that's out there that many deafblind people, most deafblind people can't access because it hasn't been adapted or accommodated to those individual needs. it hasn't been made accessible. So that's one of the ways that we can remove a barrier, is to make inclusive and accessible information. Also mobility, so thinking about transport. That's a major thing for our deafblind community, to think, right, I can just go out the house today and there's not all of these barriers or glitches or things that are blocking me, even maybe just to go to the shops or go to work or anywhere that you want to go. So those are the three main areas that we are doing our best to get rid of, and that we're promoting during Deafblindness Week, so people realise those specific areas. Sure. And of course, as you know, Helen Keller, a very famous deafblind lady, as we're all aware of, who's just such a wonderful woman. And we're celebrating that. It starts on her birthday, 27th of June.
Wonderful.
And that's brilliant to think that that's what kicks off our Deafblindness Week. And to start really raising more awareness about such a worthy cause, and just to really get it out there and campaign even more and more, and hopefully get more members. That's really important, to make sure other people are aware of what we do, and that there's more deafblind people out there that we need to reach. So yes, I'm hoping that can just get out there more this week.
That's wonderful. So again, slightly different questions from what perhaps, just because I think it's really important for viewers to really get an understanding of what deafblindness is in practice. You mentioned, Kat mentioned, Selina, that about going to the shops and breaking down barriers or breaking down communication barriers. Going to the shops for most people is a very sort of normal, routine thing. What are the special requirements of somebody who's deafblind going to the shops? What are the barriers? What do they need when they go to the shops?
Yep, you're absolutely spot on there. Most people would need a carer to go with them to do something basic like that, which means you instantly lose your independence. Yes. Or there's different technology or equipment that you can have, or a guide dog, or it is normally a carer that has to go with that person. But you think now how technology has just blown up. There are different things out there. Of course, we've got the white cane along with the red stripe on it, so you know someone is deafblind, but you don't always see, to be honest, how often do you see a deaf person out on the street? There's so many barriers. I know a lot of deaf people avoid this type of interactions. And remember as well, it can be a hidden disability, can't it? For example, I'm deaf. You wouldn't know I'm deaf if you just met me. No. Only if you come up to try and talk to me, we would then realise that we've got a communication barrier, and I'd have to start typing on my phone or writing down on a bit of paper to have that backwards and forwards dialogue. So, and you think now with masks during COVID, and for a deafblind person, the difficulties that has presented, it's so difficult. So this is why many deafblind people have to rely on a carer, support worker, or a family member to physically guide them to the shop and also to buy what they want. But it's rare that you see it because of the barriers that are out there, unfortunately. And that's another reason we're here, to really try and just help deafblind people to be a lot more independent if we can remove those simple barriers.
Frog in my throat. Apologies, Selina. How many deafblind people are there in the UK registered deafblind?
Right, so all over the UK, we are looking at 300,000, or just checking my figures. I believe it's over 300,000 deafblind people. Our members, we have 3,500, which is interesting. So it just shows you how many more are out there in the UK that we haven't yet made contact with. We've got it's a small service. We've got a small membership so far, but there's definitely, I think, correct me, it's over 400,000 registered deafblind people within the UK. And that's where we're rolling our sleeves up to try and get more involved.
Okay, that's a lot of people. In terms of raising awareness this week, what are the aims of your campaign?
Our aim is try to, obviously for this week, for Deafblindness Week, we have aims to campaign as much as possible to increase our membership and show all of the beautiful, wonderful services that we've got for deafblind people and their family and their carers. There's so many things we offer. For example, we have emotional support. We can offer an emotional support service. In case you're not sure what that is, we can offer a specialist to a long-term specialist to work with the deafblind person to offer emotional support. And that could be in any mode of communication that's preferred. It could be FaceTime, it could be on text, it could be face-to-face, it could be over the phone. A lot of conversations we have over those different methods of communication. So we have different levels of that. So some people might only want a simple communication on their birthday or on Christmas. We might send out a birthday card just to feel like, oh, actually someone remembers me. Okay, I am worthy. Someone is thinking about me, because we know the isolation that affects deafblind people. The second level of that communication is a 6 weekly phone call. For 6 weeks, every week, a phone call to that person just to touch base, see how they're doing. And we can extend that if it's not long enough for that individual.
Wonderful.
Also, we can up that and offer actual counselling. We have our own qualified counsellor as well, specialised in the area. And we also have social groups too, which is just one of the most beautiful parts of what we offer. And again, we're doing a lot of that digitally, or you can access it on the phone. And we also do webinars as well, which includes many of our members. We also have a befriending service too. Maybe if the person just feels very isolated and doesn't meet any new friends or talk to anyone, and you can imagine how amplified that's been during COVID.
Yes.
We have that there as well, which can also be done over the phone if that's more suited. So
wonderful.
We have many things, and we're also doing a lot with technology at the moment too.
Well, it's been wonderful so far talking to you. We're just about to go to a break very shortly. So Selina, your passion is so obvious in the strength of your signing as well, which is it's wonderful to see. When we come back from the break shortly, I'd like to talk a little bit more with Selina and Kat, very much around what are the causes of deafblindness, and also some of the effects that have happened as a result of the COVID pandemic. Have there been any specific issues that have had an impact on particularly people with deafblindness? Don't go away. We'll be back in a few moments, and we'll be talking back with Selina and Kat. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Health Show. Before the break, we were talking to Selina, Sharmeen and her colleague Kat from the National Deafblind Association about the impact of deafblindness on over 400,000 people here in the UK. So without further ado, back to Selina again. Selina, if I could ask you please, for people at home who have not come across deafblindness before, is deafness and blindness two completely separate illnesses or disorders that have happened at the same time or separately? Or is there a deafblind causative reason for deafblindness?
There's often smaller indicators that show when someone's actually slowly losing their vision and their hearing. For example, they start seeing that the TV's a bit blurry, or they want the lights on more, or you see a family member holding up a magazine closer to their face or the phone closer to their face. These are often indicators of gradual loss of deafness and blindness. And those are the things that we always say, please let us know and report to us so we can have that intervention at an earlier stage. And the same with deafness. If someone always says pardon, or they're listening to the telly louder and sitting a lot closer to it. And that's how it often happens. So it's really important actually for Deaf Awareness Week to know that information for your friends and family. So if you see those things, those indicators, we do have a helpline. for Deafblind UK, and we can support family, friends, and carers too. And that's Monday to Thursday, and that's from 9 in the morning till 5. So that's 9 to 5 Monday to Thursday, and Friday 9 to 4 p.m. That anyone can ring in, any question, any concern, anything you're just not sure about.
And would you like? Sorry to interrupt, Selina and Kat. Would you like to give us the telephone number for that if anybody wants to take that right now?
Oh, yes, one moment.
Okay, that's great.
It's 08 00 13 21 320.
Fabulous. Thank you very much indeed. Hope everybody got that. You'll be able to contact us at British Muslim TV to get those details. They'll be on our Facebook page immediately after the show. Selina, you mentioned 400,000.
To let you know, just to have a look. Yep. If you have a look on Deafblind UK website as well, there's so many resources and information there, and also ways to contact us too. So there's a wealth of details on there as well, if that's more accessible.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah, please do look that up. Selina, you've talked about 400,000 people, and we talked about deafness and blindness coming kind of simultaneously. Is this a degenerative disease, generally speaking, or is this an acute disease that happens? Is it something that happens to much older people, or does it happen to younger people, or doesn't it matter about age at all?
It really varies, to be completely honest, Tarek. It really varies. It can just happen. It can be sudden. It can be acute. It can be something you're born with. It can be gradual over time. You might be born hearing and slowly go deaf and lose your sight, or the other way round, or start off with blurred vision, start off with ushers and deafness. It is such a large spectrum. You might be born deaf like me and be a BSL user, and then slowly lose vision over time. Your vision might be fine throughout your younger years, and it could suddenly go, or it could gradually go. Or you might be able to have some of your hearing and then lose all of your sight. It's such a massive spectrum. And the main message I'll say about that is to learn BSL, deaf, hearing, deafblind, whatever your status is, because you never know what's going to happen. And it's a brilliant skill to have. If you've got those basic sign language skills, it's fantastic to have. I mean, the same for me. If I didn't have that, luckily, because I've got BSL, I could change to block sign, which is something that we do on our hands. It's a tactile version of sign language. So we have DBM, which is deaf blind manual sign language, and also block sign. So that's something a lot of deaf people transition onto if they then lose their sight.
Wonderful. No, it's great to have you guys on the show, just to learn so much. Especially we've only got a very short time tonight. Do you, Selina, do you think enough is being done for people with sensory impairment?
Again, it goes back to the barriers, especially for communication. Not enough is done about that. There isn't enough support out there. We are the only ones here who offer this support within the whole of the UK, and to offer such a wealth of different support services as well. Like I mentioned before, with our helpline, we have so many people that ring in, and it shows us the demand that's out there. And the thing about that too is it doesn't discriminate. You could be a professional, a carer, a deafblind user themselves, whoever you are, we provide that information, that support, we signpost, and we have those services, and we offer those to anyone. And to have things like emotional support and support groups, to have the technology that we offer, the befriending service. Oh, and also I haven't mentioned, we also have a holiday service where we offer short UK-based holidays, fully accessible trips. And that's so important for people. We have a lot of phone calls about that, and we say, yeah, come along to one of our holidays, and it's a great experience.
Oh, that's wonderful. It sounds like a lot of good and great projects are happening for the deafblind community. It's important. That's wonderful. Can I ask another question? You've mentioned BSL, Selina. Is sign language universal?
No, not at all. It varies from country to country, and also from region to region. For example, depending on your accent. So if you have a London accent, you can pick up on that, can't you? And someone from Manchester might have a Northern accent.
Wow.
And that's the same with sign language. And you'll see the variety within those regional signs too, which is a beautiful thing. Even numbers, for example, Selina's just showing you usually 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, but up north you might use your baby finger instead of your index finger for a number 1. So it's a slight change. You'd follow it as a deaf person, but it's a different sign variety. So it just depends where you're from, and that's country and region too.
Wow, that's amazing. So BSL has accents. I've absolutely learned something this evening.
Yes, that's right, Tarek.
It's excellent. This is excellent. You mentioned technology earlier on, Selina. What technology is available out there now for deafblind people to support them?
I mean, we're so lucky, aren't we, nowadays, because there's just so much technology out there in general anyway that supports the deafblind community. For example, all of the different applications that you can add on your mobile, and also different, bear with me, what's that called? You can actually have different textures put on mobile phones now, so you're aware what buttons you're pressing, or how much you can magnify a screen within smartphone technology now. That's already built in to be an inclusive feature. Some people don't actually know about that, and they ring us up and say, oh, you know, I can't access my phone, what do I do? And we then give them that advice that they need. And some things, like I was saying, we all actually have already in our pockets. We don't realize we've got that technology there. So the fact that it's so mainstream has been a massive help for access for deafblind people.
Oh, that's wonderful. What advice would you give to the viewers at home watching this tonight of how they can help members of the deafblind community?
Just be aware, just have that basic deafblindness awareness, and not to patronize and say, let me help you there. And, just to be respectful and treat everyone like you would want to be treated, to have that equal value, and don't be scared or hesitant. If you're nervous or don't know what to do, just be yourself, be comfortable, take your time, be patient as well for communication, not just think, I don't know how to communicate with them and then avoid it. Just give it a go and be patient with it. And you'll probably find that you enjoy it. You'll learn a new skill and a new way to communicate with someone, and you'll soon find a way around it. It could be hands-on, it could be something written down, because everyone's so different. It could just be using sign language. The person might read, you might bring up something on a text. Just go with it and be confident, and you'll find a way.
Wonderful. In general, Selina, what would you say if I said to you, what's your wish list for support for Deafblind UK? How can the viewers support Deafblind UK from at home?
We really hope that people will be drawn to Deafblind UK and want to be involved in what we do. And anyone can be involved. You can become a member. And you can be a member of Deafblind UK. Just have a look online. You can volunteer. We're always after volunteers as well, to become a befriender within the service. That would be fantastic. Please do get in contact with us. Also, of course, we're always raising money. We always need to raise more money. We rely on 35,000 a week just to support our current members within their lives and all of those wonderful services we said before. So any financial and donations and that type of support would definitely be of value to us. But please do have a look at Deafblind UK website as well. There's so much information if you're interested in joining to be a member, or just for general information. Come and have a look and check us out.
Selina, could you give us the Deafblind UK website again, please, if that's okay, just so we can tell the viewers and remind everybody?
Okay, so it's www. Deafblind. I've made a mistake myself there. Apologies. Deafblind UK. So from the start, www.deafblinduk.org. That's org.uk.
Okay, that's wonderful. Believe it or not, we're coming towards the end of the show. I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure having you, and a real honour for us here at British Muslim TV to welcome you. Selina and Kat, would you please promise us you'll come back and visit us again, perhaps this time next year or for any other events? It would be lovely to have you on the show. Thank you so much for educating us. And we wish you all the very best. Sorry, I'm just listening to what Selina's saying. Yep.
Selina said, thank you so much, and thank you for having us here. We appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and and your passion with the way, even just in your signing, the passion is so strong about the subject, and we hope that you go forward and do some great things for Deafblind UK. Certainly, it's been an education for me this evening, listening to some of the things you've been saying, which has been great. So all the very best for the rest of this week with all the activities that you've got. We wish you very, very well.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Tarek.
Wonderful. That's all for tonight. I hope that you found this informative. Just to give you a reminder again, it's www.deafblinduk.org if you want to go to the Deafblind UK website, make a donation and get involved. There's a lot of resources there. Do have a look. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much. Have a great week, and assalamu alaikum.